Hey, this is Rick Cassell, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In today's video, I wanted to go through how to cure knee pain after basketball. And the first step that you end up doing is icing. So what I recommend is if you end up having knee pain after basketball is to ice your knee or knees. And how I would recommend when it comes to the icing side of things, I would start off with 5 minutes. So take something frozen, it can either be a bag of ice or it can be some sort of frozen vegetable, wrap a towel around it and place it on your knees for 5 minutes and see how it ends up feeling. Does it end up feeling better as the pain subsided? That ends up being a good thing because the ice is going to help when it comes to inflammation, decreasing inflammation. It's also going to help when it comes to pain relief. If 5 minutes is good, I would progress to 10. If 10 minutes is good, I would progress to 15. Now, so that's the first steps, looking at the icing side of things. Now, the second thing is I would end up foam rolling out the thigh. So Andrea is going to demonstrate, and so what you're doing is you're getting a foam roller. You can get this pretty much anywhere in any department store. And what you're rolling is from just above the knee to just below the hip, rolling up and down that thigh area in a good, smooth, controlled manner. And what we're doing here is we're just relieving the tension in that quad area. Because a lot of times with injury and pain, the muscle tightens up and it ends up pulling on that knee joint and creating unnecessary stress, which keeps that knee in pain, in constant pain. So we want to loosen that up, and we do that with the foam rolling. When it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity sets, you're going to do 1. Repetitions, you'll end up doing 5. So up and down the thigh is 1, so you'd end up doing that 5 times. When it comes to time, you're going to just do smooth, controlled movement, as you saw Andrea go through. And then when it comes to intensity, you want to feel like you're having a massage, that you're putting enough weight through that into that foam roller that it feels like the muscle's being worked and loosened up. Now, you don't want it too light, you don't want it too hard where you're feel like you're in screaming pain. It should be feeling like that muscle's being massaged out. So that ends up being the second thing to do. The third thing ends up being foam rolling out the IT band. So you're sideways to the foam roller. That leg that you're going to foam roll out is straight. The other leg is over the top. And then you're rolling from that hip joint along that outer thigh to just above that knee joint. And you're rolling through that smooth, controlled movement. Perfect. Now, if you don't have a foam roller, what you can end up utilizing is some sort of ball. What'll end up working well ends up being like a basketball, a soccer ball will end up working well, or like a medicine ball if you have that. That'll end up working well as something that you can end up rolling on. Now, looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets 1 reps. I'm going to get you to do a 5, so up and down that outer thigh part ends up being 1. Time, smooth, controlled movement. And then when it comes to intensity, just like the one before, you want to feel like you're having a massage, that it feels like you're working the muscle. Okay, so with what we've done so far with the ice, we've decreased inflammation and helped with pain relief. When it comes to the 2 foam rolling exercises, we've decreased the tension that ends up happening in the muscle. Now, the fourth thing that we want to do is we want to do a quad stretch. So stretch out that thigh. So you're standing on one leg, you have your hand on something for support in order to remove balance, because what we want to do is focus on the stretching side of things. So you're nice and upright, you're bringing the heel towards the seat, you're looking at stretching out that front of the thigh. Now what you can end up doing is bringing that knee back a little bit more, and now we get a thigh and a hip stretch. So if you don't feel anything from the quad stretch, what you can do is bring that knee back and get more of a stretch in that hip and in the thigh. Perfect. When it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets, we're doing 1. Repetitions, we're going to do 2, and going on both sides, just alternating back and forth. Time, we're looking at a 20-second hold, and then intensity, we're looking for a light stretch. So after the quad stretch, we're going to end up moving to a standing hip flexor stretch. Good. Taking a step forward, taking a step back. Good. Your front foot is flat. You're on the balls of the back foot, knees bent. You tighten that abdominal area, then you tighten the glutes, and you're gonna bring the hips forward. And we're looking for a light stretch in the front of the thigh, and we're looking for a light stretch in the front of the hip. So we've done the quad stretch, which really ends up lengthening and decreasing that tension in the quad. Then we've gone up into the hip flexor and loosened that up in order to decrease that pull on that knee and decrease that knee pain, because the quads and the hips end up getting tight from playing basketball and repeatedly playing basketball. Looking at that standing hip flexor stretch, looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity. Sets, you're going to do 1, repetitions 2, so alternating back and forth on both sides. Time ends up being 20-second stretch, and the intensity ends up being light. Now, when it comes to the last thing that I want you to end up doing, it doesn't really involve any type of exercise, but it really is like looking at the rest of your day, morning, throughout the day, and then evening when it comes to your knees, and decreasing unnecessary stress on your knees. So if you have knee pain, especially after basketball, excessive standing isn't a good thing, because that means the knee is stressed a lot more throughout the day. So what is best is to sit down or lie down to decrease that stress on the knee joint. Now, remembering when you're sitting down, if you sit with your feet underneath your seat, or if you like sitting in a low chair or couch and your knees are excessively bent, the more that you bend the knees, the more stress that ends up happening in that knee joint. So if you're sitting, ideally you want to keep that leg straight, and that puts the least amount of stress on that knee joint. So there you go. Give those 6 things a go when it comes to how to cure knee pain after basketball. Now, if you want some of my other best tips and tricks when it relates to overcoming knee pain, then what I recommend you do is click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tricks That Fight Knee Pain and Tightness. Just click right here. Let me know where to send that brand new free report, and I'll send you that brand new free report right away. Now, if you're watching this on a tablet, smartphone, mobile device, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will end up being exercisesforinjuries.com/knees. Let me know where to send that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comment section. And then lastly, hit subscribe in order to get future pain relieving videos.